You ever sit with someone from the boomer generation and notice how they can hold a kind of steady certainty about life that feels almost grounding? Maybe it's a parent, a grandparent, a coworker, or even a stranger who talks about hard times like they were just part of the weather. They'll tell stories about layoffs, wars on the news every night, raising kids with less support. And they'll say it with this calm shrug, like, you just did what you had to do. And sometimes when you hear that, your body might react in two different ways. Part of you might feel comforted, like their steadiness slows your breathing a little, like sitting near someone who doesn't panic easily. But another part of you might feel tension in your chest or jaw, wondering why they seem so trusting of systems, authority, or traditions that feel complicated or even unsafe to you. That emotional mix, admiration and frustration, actually makes a lot of psychological sense, because many boomers grew up inside a very specific nervous system environment. And that environment quietly shaped three deep patterns: optimism, loyalty, and trust in authority. Not as personality traits, but as survival strategies. The first truth is, optimism often grows from surviving instability early in life. Many boomers were born into or shortly after global conflict, economic rebuilding, and rapid cultural change. Their childhoods often included uncertainty, but also a powerful societal message that things were improving. Technology was expanding, jobs felt stable, communities felt tighter. There was this collective forward momentum. When your nervous system grows up inside repeated messages of, things will get better if you keep going, it learns to regulate anxiety through hope. Optimism becomes less about blind positivity and more like an internal anchor, a way to keep the shoulders from locking up when life gets heavy. It's not that they don't see problems. It's that their brain learned that steady effort usually led somewhere safer. The second truth is, loyalty often forms from relying on systems that once felt dependable. For many boomers, institutions like workplaces, governments, and long-term careers were structured differently. Jobs often rewarded staying put. Communities were geographically stable. Social roles were clearer, even if they were limiting. The nervous system loves predictability. It reduces scanning, reduces threat detection, lowers cortisol levels. When something consistently provides safety or stability, the brain forms attachment to it, almost like it would with a trusted caregiver. So loyalty to employers, brands, or institutions can feel less like stubbornness and more like emotional muscle memory, a learned signal that says, this kept us safe before. The third truth is, trust in authority can grow from growing up during highly structured social eras. Boomers were raised during decades where questioning authority was often discouraged in schools, families, and workplaces. Clear hierarchies were presented as necessary for order and survival. For many, following established leadership reduced chaos, which reduced nervous system overload. If your early environment rewards compliance with safety, your brain wires authority as a regulation tool. Listening, following rules, trusting leadership can literally feel calming to the body. But here's the reframe that often gets missed. These patterns aren't signs of naivety or rigidity. They're signs of nervous systems shaped by survival through structure, rebuilding, and collective effort. Many boomers developed emotional endurance, a tolerance for discomfort, a deep capacity to stay steady when life feels unpredictable. And understanding that doesn't mean you have to agree with every worldview or approach. It just means you're seeing the human wiring underneath it, instead of the generational stereotype, because every generation is responding to the environment it grew up regulating inside. Some learned safety through flexibility and questioning. Others learned safety through stability and trust. Both are forms of adaptation. Both are forms of intelligence. So here's the real question. When you think about boomers in your life, do you notice moments where their optimism, loyalty, or trust in authority feels comforting or challenging? And what does your body feel in those moments? If this shows up in your life, share what it feels like for you in the comments. You're not the only one. And for more everyday psychology like this, like the video and subscribe to Psychology of Everyday People.